So 4.3, we have congruent triangles, and congruent triangles that have the same shape and size are congruent. Two triangles are congruent if and only if all three pairs of corresponding angles are congruent and all three pairs of corresponding sides are congruent. So we need corresponding angles and we need corresponding sides. And if we look at this figure here, you can see that a triangle ABC is congruent with triangle TSR. ABC, TSR. And why is that? Because the corresponding angles are congruent, right? Where we have A and R congruent, we have B and S, angle B and S are congruent, and angle C and T are congruent. And then the corresponding sides are also congruent. So we have side AB is congruent with side RS. We have side CA is congruent with RT, and side BC is congruent with ST. So all the corresponding angles and sides are congruent, thus the triangles are congruent. We have the third angles theorem, which states that if two angles of one triangle are congruent to two angles of a second triangle, then the third angle of the triangle are congruent. And that makes sense if we understand that the angles of a triangle add up to 180 degrees. Right? If we have two angles of one triangle congruent with two angles of another triangle, then that means the third angle must be the same. Right? So here, let's look at this example. Let's say that these two triangles are congruent. We're given that. We're going to name the congruent angles and congruent sides. So we can see here that angle Z and T are congruent. So we can say angle Z is, let me move this a little this way. Okay, angle Z is congruent with angle T. And then we have angle Y and S, you see. So these are like a mirror reflection of each other. So if I go ahead and take this triangle and flip it that way, then we'll see that Y and S are the corresponding angles, right? So we also have angle S, or let's say Y, is congruent with angle S. And then that leaves this one over here is X and R. So angle X is congruent with angle R. And then let's see about the sides. So we have side YZ is congruent with side ST. And then side XZ is congruent with side RT. And then lastly, if these two sides are congruent, then that third side is congruent, right? And also we're given that the two triangles are congruent. So we have XY is congruent with SR, like so. So, yeah, so if two triangles are congruent, that means all of their corresponding angles are congruent, all three of them, and then all three of their sides are also congruent. And so down here we're supposed to find all of the corresponding congruent parts of the triangle, meaning angles and sides. So I'll show the answers here in the next video.